Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajeem. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Mm, I wish and hope that you all are doing fine and all of your loved ones would be enjoying good health too. So, in our today's lecture, I would try to complete the topic which we started in the previous lecture, and that is about the balance of power. In the previous lecture, we discussed about what is the very concept of the balance of power, and after defining the concept of balance of power and the relevant and the associated concepts to the balance of power, such as the power shift and the concept of peace. We talked about the various key features of the balance of power, and we explained the characteristics with some examples from the history of international relations. And in our today's lecture, we will talk about the types of the balance of power, and after having a thorough discussion about the various kinds of balance of power, we will conclude this topic in our today's discussion. So, without wasting further time, I would start having discussion about the various types of the balance of power. So we will start with the all the types, all the key types of the balance of power one by one, and we will try to explain these different types with examples as well. So first of all, we will talk about the simple balance of power. What is the simple balance of power? So we can see here that simple balance of power aims at preservation of safety of the nationalities of the world. So one of the key objectives behind seeking simple balance of power at the international level is the preservation of the various nationalities existing in the world. So, in more simpler words, we can say that in the simple balance of power, there are two powers or states that try to establish a kind of parity between them, that try to balance out each other's influence. So that is what is known as the simple balance of power. So, and we can take the example of the Cold War era, in which the United States and the former Soviet Union, they competed with each other, and they established a sort of parity of power between them, and they actually balanced out each other power during Cold War era. And when that parity got disturbed as a result of the dismemberment of the Soviet Union, the United States emerged as the superpower or the hegemon of the world. So the simple balance of power got disturbed by the disintegration of the former Soviet Union, and the balance, which was the parity of balance which was there between the United States and the Soviet Union, or the former Soviet Union during the Cold War era, was over, and eventually the simple balance of power was no more. I would also try to explain all that in another, medium of language so that you can understand that in a comprehensive way. सो एक्चुअली जो सिंपल बैलेंस ऑफ पावर होता है उसमें दो स्टेट्स जो होती हैं वो एक दूसरे के इन्फ्लुएंस को जो है वो कैंसिल करने की कोशिश करती हैं और असल असल में वो एक दूसरे को पावर जो एक पैरिटी होती है जो इक्वलिटी ऑफ पावर को मेंटेन करने की कोशिश करती हैं दोनों स्टेट्स के दरमियान या दोनों ग्रुप्स के दरमियान। जैसा कि हमने कोल्ड वॉर एरा में देखा कि ईस्टर्न ब्लॉक और वेस्टर्न ब्लॉक में पूरी वर्ल्ड डिवाइडेड हो गई और जो यूएस था जो लीड कर रहा था वेस्टर्न ब्लॉक को और ईस्टर्न ब्लॉक जो विच वॉज लेड बाय द फॉर्मर सोवियत यूनियन, they were involved in a sort of power context from 1945 to 1991 in the dismemberment of the former Soviet Union। तो उसमें एक सिंपल बैलेंस ऑफ पावर था जो कि इस्टेब्लिश किया गया था दो पावर्स के थ्रू, यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स और सोवियत यूनियन के थ्रू। तो जैसे ही सोवियत यूनियन जो डिसइंटीग्रेट हो गया तो उसके बाद जो बैलेंस ऑफ पावर सिंपल था वो डिस्टर्ब हुआ और सिंपल बैलेंस ऑफ पावर was not there anymore after the dismemberment of the former Soviet Union. So that is all about the simple balance of power. Now we will talk about the complex balance of power, that is the opposite of the simple balance of power. So we can compare and contrast the simple and complex balance of power. So on the other hand, the complex balance of power is it is concentrated on the preservation of peace due to the varying positions of the two militant nations. So जो कॉम्प्लेक्स बैलेंस ऑफ पावर जो होता है इसमें जो कंसंट्रेशन होती है वो प्रेजर्वेशन ऑफ पीस के ऊपर होती है। क्यों इसके ऊपर कंसंट्रेशन की जाती है? बिकॉज ये जो दो ओपोनेंट स्टेट्स जो होती हैं, जो दो स्टेट्स हु आर इन कॉन्फ्लिक्ट विद ईच अदर, their positions keep on varying, keep on changing. So because of that changing positions of the militant nations, an attempt is made to preserve the peace or maintain or sustain the peace. So that is what is considered in the complex balance of power. So when we talk about the examples of this complex balance of power, we can take the example of the Europe in the mid 18th century. That time Europe can be considered as the complex balance of power. Another example of a complex of balance of power can be taken in the context of Pakistan and India, who has taken shape from simple to complex balance of power. तो यहाँ पे हम थोड़ा सा इसको और फर्दर एक्सप्लेन करेंगे। जब हम बात करते हैं कॉम्प्लेक्स बैलेंस ऑफ पावर की बिटवीन इंडिया एंड पाकिस्तान, तो हमें पता लगता है कि the relationship between they have always been the two main contestants of two main contestants in the South Asian region, and they have always observed or they always had sort of inimical relations between each other, and the balance of power in this South Asian region got like kept on shifting between India and Pakistan, and the the complex balance of power has always been shifting from simple to complex between India and Pakistan. So we can look at the picture given in this slide that on the one scale of the in the one pan of the scale we can see corruption, chaos, and profit kind of stuff, and in the other we can see the the law and justice and all that. So when the system is gripped with the elements of corruption and chaos, the and the values such as democracy and the law and order starts regulating, the situation starts developing from the simple to the complex balance of power. Okay, now we will talk about another kind of balance of power, another kind of balance of power, that is the local, regional, and the opposite to that is the worldwide balance of power. So first we will talk about the local or regional balance of power. So we can see here that the local balance of power seeks to checkmate only one power or state. So in the local system, or in the we can say that at the local level, an attempt is the local balance of power usually seeks to checkmate only one power or state rather than multiple powers or states, while the regional balance of power aims to maintain balance in a particular geographical or political region. It involves more than one states when we talk about the regional balance of power. So, while talking about the examples of this very local or regional balance of power, we can see that the United States is an actor in all regional balance of power within the world. But beside this very example, we can take some other examples as well in this very context for explaining this local and regional balance of power. So, when we talk about Pakistan is considered a local power, and it seeks to checkmate only one power, that is usually the India. In order to create a local balance of power, it is being contested with India, on the other hand. And when we talk about the regional balance of power, we can see two main contestants in this type of balance of power in South Asia or in the Asian continent, that is India and China. So, and in regional balance of power, it actually aims to maintain balance in a specific geographical or a political region. So we can categorize the Asian continent into various sub-regions. We can say that China is having influence, China has established its influence in the East Asian region, and India has always been the strong contender in the South Asian region, and here now China is trying to establish its influence in this very area of South Asia. So in the South Asian regional balance of power, we can see China and India fighting for influence and trying to like involve other powers of the South Asian region into their side so that they can uh, gain more and more power and influence. So, and United States is one factor that is found in almost all the regions of the world to strike a regional balance of power. And in this region, we can see in the region of South Asia, we can see that India is being supported by the US covertly or openly to check with the Chinese rising influence or to contain the Chinese rising influence in this very region. So this is all about local and regional balance of power. And now we will talk about the worldwide balance of power. So it is quite the opposite of the regional balance of power. If the balance of power involves more than one region of the world, that means it is the worldwide balance of power. So, and while talking about the examples of this worldwide balance of power, the two world wars, the principle of world balance of power motivated the action of the various states. So we can take the example of the two world wars. Sorry for this interruption. I am not feeling well, so some interruption has been caused because of this very factor. So the two world wars can be taken as the example of the world wide because the powers motivated the actions of because the balance worldwide balance of power motivated the actions of the various states around the globe. In order to create a worldwide balance of power, different states from different regions of the world got involved in this in both the world wars that have been fought. Now we will further continue with another type of the balance of power, that is the rigid and flexible balance of power. These are the two opposites of each other. So in rigid balance of power, two groups of states take a particular stand and are not willing to go back from the decisions. So as the word rigid demonstrates that it is it shows a stance from which the parties do not go back or they are not willing to go back from their decision. So in this sort of balance of power, two groups of states or two states, they if they take a particular stand on an issue, they are not willing to go back from the decision. They are not ready to change their decision. So this is known as the rigid balance of power. The rigid stand taken by the United States and the Soviet Union as leaders of the two groups, which emerged after the closure of the Second World War, can be taken as an example of this type of balance of power. So they both these powers, such as the United States and the former Soviet Union, they were not ready to go back from their stance that they are the major powers of the world after the closure of the Second World War, as Soviet Union took its share in the benefits that have been accrued from the victory of war in different regions, and the spoils of war have been shared equally between the victorious powers. So, United States and USSR, the two major powers, uh, got emerged after the closure of the Second World War. And after the ending of the Second World War, they didn't go back from their stance of being the two superpowers. That is known as the rigid balance, the example of the rigid balance of power. Now we will talk about the flexible balance of power. In flexible balance of power, like states change their alignments and seek fresh alliances due to changed circumstances. So, in our previous discussion, we already have discussed that power is something, or the phenomena of power is something which is a dynamic process and keeps on changing, and the the power is also affected by the changing circumstances in the international system. So the states operating in the international system, they always try to change their alignments and seek fresh alliances because of the changing circumstances, and that sort of alignments or fresh alignments can be taken in the context of the flexible balance of power. Okay, now we will conclude our today's discussion about the various types of balance of power. First of all, we can see that it is a central concept in the theory and practice of international relations for the last many years, for the last many centuries. The international politics, both the theory and practice of international relations and international politics revolve around this very concept of balance of power. So, and secondly, this very concept has played a crucial role in the development of the international politics theory and the contemporary study of international relations. And lastly, the balance of power theory and policy of international relations that asserts that most effective check on power of a state is the power of other states. So, power, the concept of power is very effective and central concept in the affairs of the state, or in the mechanism of the international system. And this very concept of power is a relative concept. That means, like, one state's power can be considered in relation to another states of the world. So that, in simple words, we can say that one state's power can be another state's lack of power, or one when one state gains in power, the other loses. So that is, the power of a state is one of the most effective checks on the power of the other states. So the balance of power is, in simple words, we can say that we can conclude that is one of the most central concepts in the study of international relations, and it has helped to develop the theories and practices of international relations which we study in the discipline of international relations nowadays. So that is all about our today's discussion, and if you have any queries, please write to me. You can raise your queries in our WhatsApp group so that I can like answer your questions. And I already have shared reading material about like in the form of a book, and I also shared keep on sharing some other relevant materials to you for your in order to facilitate you so that you can have a comprehensive study or comprehensive reading material about the various topics or various concepts which we are discussing in our lectures. So I wish you all stay safe and healthy, and see you next week at upcoming lectures inshallah. Until then, Allah Hafiz.